Is that flat?
Yeah.
Nice big fat lingcod. Exactly where my reef is. Without being washed out by weather, so you can see that piece was all white. Here we go. Look how pretty that little guy is. Very nice. Tasty. That is because I'm old. Now potatoes. There they are. How's it going? Catch any waves?
Apparently. It's horrible.
Is that flat?
Yeah.
It's good for me. I'm fishing. Guess I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have been rubbing it in their face like that. Montana De Oro. Coming out. What are we coming for? We always come for when we're going to Montana De Oro. And that is a lingcod. Nice big fat lingcod. It's waiting for my bait. And the nice thing about seeing those two surfers come in was that means those cars that I saw in the parking lot, I didn't take a picture of them, were surfers, not fishermen. So I was worried about someone getting out here early because it's March and it's Sunday. So could be plenty of people fishing out there. No matter how many times I come up here, I always get a little confused on exactly where my reef is. There's my reef. Looking pretty darn good too. High tides in an hour or so. But with these low swells, it's not going to swamp the rocks. All right, it looks like some darn good fishing. Could use another rope, just like I thought. I actually had another rope, I just didn't think I needed to carry it in. But would have been just fine. Because this is the steepest part coming back up. It's going to be fun. As I said, the tide's about 9 o'clock. It's the middle of March now, and so I'm really hoping this is the beginning of the rock fishing season. And this is going to be the year we catch the lingcod. And this is where I believe is lingcod reef. It's got to be here. When I say rock fishing season, I mean the ability to get on a reef without being washed out by weather, so a natural season. The very, very edge of the reef. High tide, no swell, fresh bait. I want that lingcod, so I'm at the very end of the reef. As I said, I'm casting out as far as I can go. Okay, I'm going to switch out the bait. I'm going to put this piece out there. I'm just going to, should have brought my knife here. I'm going to put this piece out, break it up a little bit, chum a little, see what happens. You can see that piece was all white, probably lost its scent there. Let me show you what it was like about, last month, the last time I came out on this reef. I caught a nice little cabezon. Here we go. Look how wild and crazy the reef is. This day was supposedly only 2 or 3 foot swells, but there was just a lot of power in the water. I mean, it was a little break between large swells. But I did manage to catch one little fish, this cute little cabezon right here. Get over there, buddy. Look how pretty that little guy is. Very nice. Just gotta go back in. Put that down. You know, look at the comparison here. Looked like that bait needed to be changed. Another thing I'm trying to do to hopefully catch the lingcod is keep the squid fresh, because I think they just bleed out all their scent and then fish don't bite them anymore. Here's a rogue wave that sent me into panic. Maybe go over there and save my camera. Oh no! Was out there for casting out far for about an hour. I didn't really get any bites, so decided to work the edge for a while, see what happens. Had a snag, had to break it off. Might have came untied. It was one of the ones I tied. But I had to pull really hard to get it to come untied if it did, so not so bad, I guess. Let's go gear up one more time, change the batteries, see what we can do. Head on over and check the crab snare. Watch my videos from last year. I was making my own crab snares at home, just little cheap ones, and they work surprisingly well. I bought this one off online for like 15 bucks, and the loops were just too small, and I missed a couple crabs on them. So I make my own again. I mean, there was definitely crabs attacking that thing. It was mauled. It's amazing how strong rock crabs are. And this is that little hole where I caught the cabezon where I showed you last time. See how different, how calm it is. Of course, there was nothing in it. So you can see I switched leaders to my favorite. That's another 3-ounce torpedo weight. But I have a 6-inch line attached to the loop knot about, a foot up above from that weight. So the bait hangs down about 3 inches, 4 inches above the weight. Just one hook. That's my favorite setup. I do better on that setup, I think, than the high-low rig. That's probably because it keeps the bait near the weight. You know, I'm always targeting. Like right now, there's a reef out there I'm trying to hit, so I'm kind of targeting with my weight when I cast it. I guess everybody does. But with rockfish, I swear, a foot this way or that way, you don't get the bite. But largely I'm just guessing. You know, if you guys have any suggestions on how I could up my lean cod from shore game, please put them down below. Casting out a long way. Hook something big out there. Might as well take a seat. Wind's starting to pick up a little. Come on, big lean. We had a big old lane come by and come my way just as soon as I sat down. As soon as I sit down, another kind of rogue wave comes rolling in here. Makes me stand up. I always put a little electrical tape over the buttons and the card area on my action cam. Turns it into a water-resistant camera. Well, we're out here beyond the breakers now, so. Yes, usually I can't get past the waves, so I'm inside the reef trying to find a hole or something. In fact, being able to cast out that far is the main reason I think I should be able to catch a lean cod out here. Got some overcast. That's really good. When you're standing there and the waves break on that reef, it sounds like there's a jet going by. That's what I'm looking for, but there's no jet. It's the sound of the water breaking on the reef. And then it happens. I start getting a couple bites. All right, we got something here. That's pretty damn good. Oh, there it goes. Here it comes, here it comes. Here it comes. Oh yeah. It's a nice fish. Puts up a nice fight. That is pretty nice. What we got here? Whoop. That's a big old rockfish. Looks like we got ourselves. Holy shit, my man. Check out this gopher. That is a gopher and 3/4. All right. Found my hole finally. That's really nice. Well, we'll be keeping that one. Got to take it back over to my gear. Thought that was the lean. Yeah, I thought that was the lean cod. It was big. Every time I go back to my gear, I got to cross this little chasm here because the reef is separated by that water. Get pretty good at it though. Check that baby out. Definitely the biggest gopher I ever caught. Might be the biggest rockfish I ever caught. I mean, not counting cabezons.
About 16 inches. Very nice.
You can see it's bigger than that. It's probably 17 or 17 and a half. It just has that bend in it. And it has a lot of meat on it. Okay, time to put it out of its misery, and then we'll cut the gills there and bleed it on out, get the blood out of the body, and make it nice and tasty.
Well, caught my personal best gopher, it looks like, over there. So, what I think it was, 16 inches. I thought it was a lingcod the way he put up the fight. That was pretty darn neat. But so I'm gonna have a little lunch, have a little coffee, and gear this thing up one more time. Go for one more
Fish and put some sunscreen on my nose, but I shouldn't have. I should have went right back out there because I did take about a half-hour break. And when you do that, it's a good chance what happened to me is going to happen to you. Conditions are going to change. Swell picks up a little bit. Current gets a little stronger. Suddenly you can't keep your weight in the same place. So even when I cast it over to where I got the last bite, it wouldn't stay in the same place anymore. I'm definitely going to remember that spot for next time. So I figured I'd move down a little bit, try some edges or something. Seagull flying down to root me on, or hope I drop my bait, one of the two. Perhaps he just wanted to watch me get splashed. Here, watch it a couple times. Even with the little tape, you better wipe off that camera real fast. Water just eats him. Well, it's starting to get late, so tourists appearing up on the hill. Definitely time for me to get on out of here. Figured I'd just go flay that fish, get ready to take it on home and cook it up. Just look at the geography here. I mean, it's really, really beautiful. Another reason why I love fishing down here. I left the skin on the fillet and the scales on that, so I can just leave the carcass for the seagulls like I like to.
Told myself I needed 2 ropes for that. Only brought one. Most exhausting.
Alrighty, great trip. Let's take that fish home. Turn it into something. I think I'm doing tempura batter today. Going to start off making some home fries, and the reason I'm cutting like that is because I'm old. And I know, if you hold your potato with your hand on the cutting board and cut towards your fingers, one day you're going to take a giant chunk out of your finger. So anyway, we cut them in those wedges like that, and we're going to put them in this nice water here where I've put some bay leaves. I want to remove the bay leaves before you fry. And then we want to parboil them for about 10 minutes or so. We don't want to get them mushy, but they want to be a little bit cooked. And then you can see the oil was about 340 right there, and we're just going to fry them till golden brown. And then, while I was frying, I figured I'd work on my salad, which I always include a nice little bit of a shredded carrot, because I just love that machine. And as I told you, today we're going to do some tempura batter. And that tempura batter right there is too thick. I didn't know. I found out about it later. You just want a light batter. And I got a kind of a thick batter here. But it came out fine, or maybe it came out a little doughy. Those potatoes are not quite as brown as I'd like. The oil is so fresh. And you little used oil, get really good browning, I think, sometimes. Kind of the same thing happens to the tempura here. But yeah, we fry that up. Got the oil about 350, and we're going to fry it until the internals are 140, 145, something like that. And as I usually say, if it's golden brown on the outside and your oil is not too hot, it should be cooked. And of course, I made some nice tartar sauce to go on the salad. Wait a second. I think I forgot the potatoes. There they are. The potatoes came out pretty darn good. They were nice and crunchy. But the batter came out a little doughy, but it was still tasty. Yeah, there's nothing like fresh Pacific rockfish. Anyway, off to the surfing here. I've been surfing reform because the waves have just been big. What's a longboarder to do?